A very good evening to you. Seems today the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer's got a bit of backbone, finally standing up to Donald Trump a little. Has he finally realised that standing up to the US President may be a better strategy?
Look, this is a government that has always acted in the national interest, and we've had a close economic and security relationship with the US, and we've used that over the last 18 months to deliver things like a trade deal, to deliver some of the lowest tariffs you've seen of comparable countries, to deliver low tariffs on cars and no tariffs on pharmaceuticals. That relationship is delivering for us. But when we have disagreements with the US administration, of course we're going to make that known, and that's exactly what you saw the Prime Minister doing today, because it's not appropriate, it's not right for the President to be taking the actions on NATO allies in the way that he has, and that's what the Prime Minister was setting out today.
How far are we prepared to take this? Because Donald Trump in his speech in Davos today said the United States would remember if countries didn't allow the US to annex Greenland. You can say yes and we'll be very appreciative, or you can say no and we will remember. How far is Britain prepared to go on this? Is this an absolute red line?
Look, we've seen the President over the period that he's been in office in the second term, set out some very strong language at times, and then we've engaged in the hard, quiet work of diplomacy in order to make sure that we get the best deal for our country. So our objective in this is to de-escalate, to carry on having those conversations with the US administration, and to make sure we get the best deal for our country. And when we've been talking about things over the last 24 hours like trade wars, that's not in the interest of our country. We'll do everything to avoid that.
But I don't understand what these negotiations are. I mean, he's pretty clear on this and has been consistently clear for quite a long time now. He wants Greenland.
Yeah, but we've seen in the past where the President has said...
So you don't believe what he's saying then?
No, we've seen in the past where the President uses robust language, and very robust language at certain points, and then he engages in diplomacy and we come to a agreed outcome. And, I would hope that's what happens in this situation. That's exactly what the government is going to be doing now, is engaging in those conversations with the US administration alongside our NATO allies to make sure that we get the best outcome.
It's interesting what you said there, because you essentially saying he flips and flops on lots of different areas. He's not a reliable partner, though. Isn't that the bottom line? I mean, he's literally slagged off Britain on Chagos in the last 24 hours about our energy policy. He's not very keen on Labour's mayor of London. I mean, he's not a reliable partner for the UK.
Look, this relationship, and I know I said it at the start, but I think it bears repeating, this relationship is a long-standing relationship that goes beyond even just one administration. This is a relationship with the United States as a trading partner, an economic partner, a security partner. Our two countries have worked together for generations, and that's not going to change. And, I think that's where this work of diplomacy comes in. Let's get round the table, let's do that alongside our NATO allies, and let's make sure we get the best outcome. As we have up to this point, we have got the best outcome.
It's strained at the moment, though. You'd go as far as saying that, wouldn't you?
No, I would say...
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I would... Look, the circumstances we're in at the moment, as the Prime Minister said himself today in the Chamber, it's, the language that the President's using is robust language. It is not right that he is, taking the threatening NATO allies in the way that he is, in the way that he has done, the way that he's put Greenland on the table. We've been very clear throughout this is a matter for the Kingdom of Denmark and the Greenlandic people, but we need to work through this diplomatically. We need to make sure that we get the best outcome for our country, because this is ultimately about, it's the money in people's pockets. It's about I mentioned the car industry a moment ago. It's about the UK economy prospering and doing well, and that's what this government is entirely focused on.
Just finally on all of this, and it is connected, and Kemi Badenoch tried to do this at PMQs. I mean, there is a connect. I mean, so let's look at this. Keir Starmer says that the future of Greenland is for Greenlanders to decide. When it comes to the Chagos deal that you guys have signed, what input did the people of the Chagos Islands have on that?
Look, this this is working in our national interest. So
this is a really important principal position. So essentially, the argument from the government is it's up for the people of Greenland to decide the future of Greenland. Now, you guys have signed a deal with Mauritius over the Chagos Islands. Was there any consultation? Was there any referendum? What influence did the Chagayan people have on that?
Look, our priority, as I've laid out all the way through this discussion, is about working in the national interest. And without Diego Garcia, without a deal, we had the risk of being removed from that base. And that is important. That base is important for us for serious national security issues and national security reasons. And that's why we made that deal. Now, you mentioned Kemi Badenoch at the start there. The Conservatives are all over the shop on this. They have appeared to today, side with Donald Trump in terms of, taking a position that is not, respecting the Greenlandic people, is not standing with our NATO allies. So they've got questions to answer about their position on this and exactly where they stand.
Well, I really mean funny, but there does seem to be an inconsistency in the Labour government's position to this. So when it comes to Greenland, it's absolutely up to the Greenlanders to decide. When it comes to the Chagayan people, it is essentially up to the UK government to decide their future with Mauritius.
The duty of the government is to work in the national interest of our country and to make sure that we get the best deal for the country. And that's what we're doing in terms of standing alongside our NATO allies when it comes to Greenland. And that's what we're doing with the deal to ensure that we have that presence in Diego Garcia, which is incredibly important for our national security.
OK. Martin, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.